So if you will, please take a seat. I want to first of all just simply welcome you for being here. We're glad to have the youth in the room. We're glad to have the young adults in the room. And just thank you to all of you who consistently show up and support the Equity Project Alliance in the work that we do in this community. I want to take a moment to tell you how amazing some of the folks are in this room, and they're the reason that this evening is happening. But before I do that, I want to talk about, just briefly, how fortuitous it is that tonight's title is Peace in These Streets, My Story. It was shocking, July 4th, Pensacola, Florida. That was a shocking event. And I keep saying, is this really Pensacola? During the July 4th weekend, there were two deceased, a 19-year-old and a 20-year-old. And you're saying, LaSharon, I thought there was only a 19-year-old, but you all already know the 20-year-old died today through a self-inflicted wound. Peace in these streets, it seems not to be happening. In addition, 7 were shot, if we include the one from today. 3 were arrested, 26, 16, and 25. Peace in these streets. Folks, we gotta do better. We gotta start talking, and we gotta start looking at what's happening in our community. And we won't even get into why there's so many guns in the United States of America on the streets. We won't even go there. So what I want to do is take a moment to acknowledge the sponsors. On the back of your program, if you have a program, we have listed all of our sponsors. But the 2 that have consistently supported us, these are our gold level sponsors. Innisfree Hive, which is owned by Kim and Julian McQueen, and you all are very familiar with Innisfree. In addition, perhaps you've heard of this maybe a little bit better known organization called the Rockefeller Foundation. They also are committed to peace in these streets. In addition, I want to mention some of our other sponsors. They are the Peacock Family Charitable Fund and Edward Jones Cosentino Wealth Management, Jan Miller, board member and community volunteer, and our in-kind sponsors are MGM Law Firm, owned by Mary McDaniel, and Real Women Radio, owned by Nicole Dixon. These 2 organizations, our in-kind sponsors, have been sponsoring us ever since I've been at the helm of this organization. So having said that, if you get a chance, if you see any of the folks in here that I just mentioned, I hope you will tell them how much you appreciate what they do for this community. I want to recognize our volunteers. Every time we have an event, it is amazing that we do not have to go out and beat, thank you so much, I'll take it, thank you so much. We don't have to go out and beat the bushes because we have loads of volunteers. Thank you. Without your help, we couldn't do what we do. I want to say a special thank you to Katie Kircher. I know she's in the room somewhere. Thank you, Katie. Because I could not do what I do without her help. And every time we put on one of these events, her parents show up and help. and I will embarrass them by asking them to also raise their hands. We've got Kim Kircher and Dale Kircher. And there are so many others of you, and you know who you are, who show up and help us out every time. Everything from the sign-in table to passing out programs, you name it, you're there, covering the tables, etc. I also have an amazing board. Yes, they are amazing, and actually I have 2 boards because I need that much help. So I'm going to ask the board members to please stand if you are an EPA board member or an EPA advisory board member. Please stand. Thank you. These people are absolutely amazing and awesome. And you know, they not only ask me what I need help with, then they step in to actually give the help. And I want to say a special thank you to David Dellerman, who helped me. I didn't know what I was doing. Okay, there are times I don't know what I'm doing. I know, you're thinking, well, Sharon, I thought you had it together. I do. But there are times that I need help. So I told him I needed help with getting some information out. And he said, I'll speak with you afterwards and tell you what to do. Then he went and wrote it, and all I had to do was put my signature on it. How cool is that? Woo. Thank you, David, for that. I want to also embarrass Sean Graham. Now, Sean is a board member who comes in from Fairhope, Alabama. And he is the one who actually brought the idea of having story slams. They're doing it in Alabama, and they're doing amazing work. And so when he said it, it resonated with us. And so since that time, we've been doing story slams. Sean Graham, if you will sort of do something, stand up, come on. And he also, not only did he say we should consider this, he also chairs the Story Slam committee. See what I mean? They not only say, do this, they help me get it done. So yay them. Now, tonight, I needed lots of help. So I started with one of my favorite young men in the city of Pensacola. I started with Abraham Scully. He's right up here. So Abraham, I knew Abraham when he was an undergraduate student at the University of West Florida, and the lovely young man that you see today is the person I have known him to be forever. So he is an amazing young man, and he's doing outstanding stuff. And so I started with him, and then he was able to brainstorm with me, bring names to the table of some organizations that I didn't know, and it's resulting in what you see tonight. So we knew we wanted to do something that was youth-focused, so starting with someone who's already doing it. I don't believe in reinventing the wheel, right? So Abraham do lots, and so I walked lockstep with him, and then we made tonight happen. So I want to ask, and then I have to say, Jim Sparks is someone that I had met casually, right? To say, oh, hello. But I didn't really know him. And so when I reached out about the youth entrepreneurs, he jumped in with both feet. I cannot tell you how hard he has worked to make sure that we had entrepreneurs here tonight who are youth. Thank you, Jim, please. Thank you. So now that I've embarrassed as many people as I wanted to, we're going to ask each of the people who are listed on your program, I've asked them to come up and speak for no more than 2 minutes. I have to tell you, I'm fanatical about time. So the deal is, they have 2 minutes. Maybe they can squeeze in 2.5, and then you'll see me walking toward them. That means they need to exit the stage, okay? So we're going to follow this program just as it's written. We're going to start with the dynamic, outstanding, incomparable Abraham Scully.
Let's go.
Good afternoon, good evening to everyone. Thank you, Dr. Wiley, and your entire team, the whole team. There's more, there's more, there's more. Everyone loves to join in with Dr. Wiley because she is mission-oriented, and when you can tag team with someone who's already going forward, it helps all of us move to where we're trying to go. So I'm Abraham Scully. I am the founder and president of Storytelling Solutions of America. We are a local nonprofit organization. We support youth mental health from a faith lens. So tonight's talk, I'll be speaking a little bit on peace and what that means. But for our organization, every year we host our annual Youth Mental Health Summit. Over the last couple of years, we've partnered with Gateway Church. We've partnered with Brownsville Church and have had over 300 attendees between both events. I do see a number of familiar faces from our previous summits and events. We've also hosted a monthly program called It's Okay to Not Be Okay, and that is where we brought the young people along with their families together to talk about mental health. Because it's one thing to have the conversation with a young person and then they go back home where maybe that conversation isn't being had, then to bring everyone in the room and let's all have the conversation so that we can keep the conversation going once you leave. As we move into the remainder of this year and next year, we are also starting a youth discipleship program. And we highly encourage you to talk to me. I'm the only person from SSA today, but we have a table. Please chat with us, learn about that. And our Youth Mental Health Summit is August 6th and 7th of this year. So we have about 20 days until the big day. So glad to see you here. Thank you for coming out, and thank you for the warm welcome and introduction.
I promise you I will only be 30 seconds. Ms. Wiley, thank you so much for everything, for the, I know we talked about the idea of bringing those baseball teams here. You remember that? And for us to reconnect like this is what it's all about. Matter of fact, when I say reconnect, that's what my nonprofit is about, reconnecting our athletes to the community. The young man that I brought today, or that came with us today, I'm excited about what he's finna get himself into. Baseball is what I've done, my profession, I guess you can say. My name, I should say my name, right? Adron Chambers. Born and raised here in Pensacola. Samuel, this is my son, and my daughter's here, Lastacia, from Canada. But Pensacola is my home. I love Pensacola, everything about it. Again, I'm like Abraham, I see so many familiar faces. I'm excited for moments like this. Ms. Wiley was talking about the things that's going on in this community. It's a young man I went to school with right here. Everything that another young man walking in the room right now, this is what we're about. We're about change. We're about making things happen. Seeing young men like this, I remember when he was 10 years old. Now he has a full scholarship to go play baseball, not just to be on the baseball field, but when you hear him talk, you're gonna hear his mother and his father and his background and people that he's grew up with. You know what I mean? So these are the things that we're about. Again, I said 30 seconds, that was 45. I'm gonna sit down right now. Thank you, Ms. Wiley, so much. Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. On behalf of Jack and Jill of America Incorporated, Pensacola chapter, thank you, Dr. Wiley, for allowing us to be part of this special occasion. Jack and Jill is the premier African American organization of mothers of children ages 2 to 19, and we are committed to strengthening our communities through service, leadership, and advocacy for children and families. So with that said, we are very grateful for the opportunity to partner with organizations like Equity Project Alliance that shares our vision of creating positive, lasting change and we look forward to continuing our work together in service to our community. Thank you.
Dr. Wiley didn't tell me I was supposed to get up here and speak. She sent an email, she said. But I'm Michael Etheridge, founder of Golden Elite Track and Field. It's nice to see so many faces that I'm familiar with. And you guys, when I say guys, I mean everybody, ladies, y'all are quite familiar with what we do. We're more than just a track club. We're about instilling self-respect for one individual, and that's that particular athlete, that individual. We're helping them to bound from wherever they are to where they're trying to go. And I'm so proud to have two of our athletes tonight to get up and speak. One, which is the #1 female hurler in Northwest Florida. She's also an All-American Under Armour athlete. She participated at the Nike Indoor Championship. And also the young man, I call him my son. We've been together a long time. He's a 3-time or 2-time state diving champion, along with a medalist out of high school. He's just amazing to me. And so for everybody that's here, for what you're doing, thank you for pouring. Are you standing up for me, Dr. Wiley? Yeah. Okay. Thank you for, I gotta watch, Doctor. Thank you for pouring into the lives of these young people. And if we can reach one, then we can have an opportunity to keep peace in these streets.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Amanda Westbrook, and I'm a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. I am a youth advisor there, and we have girls from ages 4 to 18. We mentor girls, we tutor girls, and thank Dr. Wiley for inviting us here tonight. That's it.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jim Sparks. I'm from the Pensapreneur Kids organization. We are the home of the Pensacola Children's Business Fair. It's a privilege to be here tonight and to see so many familiar faces and a lot of new faces that may not know what we do. But over the past decade or so, we have taught hundreds of young people how to earn, save, and share, which fulfills our mission of teaching financial literacy through entrepreneurship. So we have 4 amazing vendors in the back here tonight. Hope you will take a moment to look at what they're doing, ask them questions. They've all been trained, right, to look you in the eye, to tell you thank you, and make sure they're on their mission. We don't do this in a vacuum. We have so many amazing organizations that support us, and mentors and people in the community that make all of this work possible. So if that is you, thank you. And if you haven't done it yet, we have a website. If you Google Pensacola Children's Business Fair, will come up. If you're feeling ambitious and want to spell Pensapreneur, you can do pensapreneurkids.org and you'll find us. We have a contact form. We always want to hear about kids that want to participate. Always happy to find mentors that want to come out and help the kids grow in their businesses. Tonight, for your purchasing pleasure, we have Strawberry Studio. That's Ashira. You want to wave? She actually, I was looking at pictures today. I found a picture of her from 2019. She's been doing this longer than probably half the businesses in Pensacola. So if you need business advice, just go talk to her. Precious Resin, Nafisa. All right. Honeybee Paper Company, that's Serena and Luna. And Duck with Rashad in the back there. So all of these young people have done this before, and they're here as experienced participants, but it's always fun to get new kids in and to see them for that first time where someone they've never met before comes up to them and like, what are you doing here? And they're all of a sudden interacting with people. It's an amazing experience. Encourage you to come out. Your face hurts from smiling when you're done. So thank you all very much for being here. Go visit the kids.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Kevin Pugh. I am the Youth Ministry Director at Greater Little Rock Baptist Church. My church serves the community, and I'm a man who loves and serves our kids. Oftentimes, you might have your kid know me before you know me, but that's okay. I involve myself a lot in the community. In any chance, in any aspect I have, I just long to pour myself into our youth. That's all I have. Thank you, Dr. Wiley, and thank you, Equity Project Alliance. I'm looking forward to talking to you all later.
Welcome, everybody. This is Dixon School of Arts and Sciences, and I get to be the principal here. I'm Dr. K. Now, I always love to ask this question when I'm in a crowd. This building was built in 1954. Just raise a hand for us if you were a student here, or a teacher here, or an administrator here. We're not going to ask you what year. Anybody? There's always a few, there's always a lot. Because Dixon goes way back. And I'll tell you, yeah, to them. This will be my 15th year as a principal. I've been an educator and an administrator for over 30, and this will be my 5th year here at Dixon. But I learned very, very quickly that I am not just principal at a school as I've been. I really get to be the bearer, the holder of this really beautiful legacy. This building, this brick facade, and all the people that have come through here, it's just frankly an honor, a great, great honor to get to host and to get to be here and to get to have these types of events. People know me in the community now as just yes. Nonprofits, partners, potential partners, people out there who want to do an event and come on here and partner up and do things together. I just say yes when. And because I just want to make sure we're available to you all, to the Brownsville community, to Pensacola, and I want to make sure our students reap the rewards and the benefits of all that these organizations have to offer. So if we're meeting you, if you're meeting me for the first time today, it's a yes. What do you want to do here? You want to join our kids and do something fun together? We love visiting artists, or a nonprofit or an organization that'd like to come in and use our space. We appreciate it. We're a kindergarten through 8th grade school, and I must say as well, we keep the class sizes very low, but we still have some spots available, kindergarten through 5th grade. So if you've got a kindergartner out there or know of one, let us know now. Call the school or call me. Half of you will probably have my cell phone number already. And in the other half, I give it to everybody, give it to the parents, I always have. I want to be accessible to you all and to the community. So anyway, we're grateful that you all chose Dixon. I'm excited about your stories. I'll finish lastly with this. I didn't get my first degree until I was 27 years old, because I got a story too. You don't need to hear it now, but you know what? We all got a story, and let's be proud of you all and the folks that are going to come up here and speak.
I do want to take a moment to acknowledge the volunteers who are here this evening. If you volunteered today, or if you have volunteered with the Equity Project Alliance at any point, would you please stand up to be recognized? We appreciate you all so much. As you can see, that's a beautiful crowd. If you would like to be a part of this, please visit the EPA Equity Project Alliance website. Tell us, reach out, say, I want to be a part of this, and we're going to do what Dr. Kovacs does, and we too are going to say yes. And now I will turn this over to our two esteemed event hosts. We have Mr. Brian Wire, who is the chairperson of the Equity Project Alliance and the CEO and president of the Gulf Coast Minority Chamber of Commerce, along with Ms. Dawn Novi from Innisfree Hotels. She is the Director of Corporate Culture and previously worked with Brian. So there you go. Welcome.
Hello, everybody. It's an honor to be able to serve as one of the hosts today. One of the first things I want to introduce you to is Nora Mingling. Nora, if you want to come up and just tell everyone, Nora helps to kind of control the timing for the speakers. They can know how much time they have left. And I think it's really good how Nora just explained this to you, because it helps you to break down any nervousness you may have. We're looking for future speakers to speak for storytelling and story slams, so please let us know when we have the next event to speak for it, and Nora's going to explain how the process works.
So the speakers get 6 minutes to speak, and at 4 minutes, I'm gonna hold up the green paddle. At 5 minutes, I'm gonna hold up the yellow paddle, and at 6 minutes, I'm gonna hold up the red paddle, which means wrap it up.
I want to say a joke there. You like, if you're bad, you get a paddle, but you know, that's just inappropriate these days, so I won't go there. I already said it now, so it's too late. Anyway, today I just wanted to help introduce some of the speakers we have. We have your agendas before you here, and the first speaker we have is Abraham Scully. Now, Abraham's speech is titled, "The Door I Never Wanted to Close." And I had the pleasure of meeting Abraham when he was an undergraduate at school. He was one of the first members to join our chamber and work with us. I've seen his progress throughout the years, and it's amazing what he's been doing in the community. And I think Abraham's a perfect person that tells he gets his peace by sharing the pain that he had in the past, and he gains peace from that. So his speech is really appropriate, because Peace in the Streets tells us about how he can help bring some peace to our streets. Abraham.
So I will have some nervousness. This is the first time I've shared this story. So y'all are in for something different. Thank you, I appreciate it. Your son has been a great encouragement, so I appreciate you. The door I never wanted to close. For 10 years, I owned and operated a business. Through my business, I was able to speak across the country. I worked primarily with colleges and universities, helping them build their mental health programs. It was the dream I never knew I wanted, but once I was walking in the dream, it was the dream I never wanted to let go. It all started in 2014. I moved from Miami to Pensacola, Florida to attend the University of West Florida, which is where I met the lovely Dr. Wiley and a few other folks in here. Shout out to Jim Sparks, Brian Wire. And I moved to study at the University of West Florida because it was a dream that I adopted from my parents, who were immigrants from Jamaica. Yeah, I'm one. First generation college student with big goals, big dreams. My second semester of college was one of the most difficult times of my life. I was diagnosed with clinical depression and started in this journey of what does treatment and recovery look like. Being from a Jamaican household, we didn't have these conversations. We have all heard what happens in this house. Y'all grew up with me. So I knew that we didn't talk about these things, and so you suffered in silence. So for a very long time, I suffered in silence until someone helped me to realize that my story mattered. Once I realized that my story mattered, I was telling everybody. I was telling them how I got depressed, why I was depressed, how I got out of it, and this mission that God has placed me on. So I share that to give you context of the dream I now held for 10 years that I never wanted to let go of. I got to live the dream. I got to get paid to open my mouth. So it was a beautiful thing. It's now been 2 years since I let go. And it wasn't because I wanted to let go. It wasn't because I wasn't doing a good job. it wasn't because there was something else to pursue. I realized clearly that God said it was time to let go. And I thought, but God, you told me to do this. What you mean let go? I'm as committed to this as I am now because you put me on this path. So I heard it was time to let go, but I continued living life. And I ignored that small little voice in my head because I was like, maybe it'll go away if I just keep moving forward. But it didn't go away. And as time went on, I started to realize clearly that if I didn't let go, then things wouldn't go so well. I made the very difficult decision to close the business that I had started, owned, operated for 10 years. And it was a very difficult process. In that process, I realized that what I was doing for the last 10 years became a part of my identity. It was who I was. When I had conversations with people, that's what I shared about. When I was asleep and I was talking in my sleep, my wife would tell me I was talking about the business. I loved it. I was energized by it. I was gonna do this until the wheels fell off. But God said, let go. When I made the decision is when I realized that this was a part of my identity. And not only was it a part of my identity, but now I lost a piece of me. I would be asked the question, well, you're not doing this anymore, what's next? I don't know. He didn't tell me that part. And that was very hard for me. Okay, you're not doing this anymore, so is this the direction that you're going? I don't know. As time went on, I got more and more comfortable with the I don't knows. More and more comfortable with the we'll see when he lets me know. And I stand here before you now, having let go, having closing the door that I never wanted to close, but experiencing peace that I'd never experienced before. And in my experience, I've now learned that sometimes peace comes after obedience. Thank you.
You know, it's a very, Abraham's talking my thought. Abraham sharing that story is so powerful, and him sharing that amongst everybody. I do want to say, I wish you guys could get the view I'm getting right now. It is such a diverse group of people that we have in this room, different ages, different races, different abilities we have, different professions, realtors, politicians, people involved with cable, David Delman, and everything else, nonprofit leaders, Barbara. It's just amazing to see this crowd here today to help support what's going on. Our second speaker at a president meeting earlier is Isaiah Simpson. His speech is entitled Me Versus Me. Now, Isaiah's gonna tell you more about himself, but from talking with Isaiah shortly, he's a sprinter. And from talking with him, I gained that he gains his peace through sprinting, using athletic ability to get peace in the streets. And Isaiah's gonna share a story with you now as well. Isaiah? There you go. Got it? There we go.
Good evening, guys. I got some big shoes to fill with that first performance, but my name is Isaiah Simpson. I am a senior at Westford High School, and I just want to take a moment to think about what I think peace is. Peace for me is something that I think we've all tried to strive for, especially in this coming world with everything that's happening. Peace is something that we all need to come together and understand, and peace is just something that people need to see, people need to hear, people need to express. Peace can come in all different shapes, sizes. Peace for me is running or diving or just hanging out with friends and family. Peace for somebody else could be like working on a car, listening to music, just doing anything. I just think that everyone needs something in their life that should be peace. I want to start with how I guess I ended up in a situation of public speaking. My mom is a big person that she wants people to speak, speak for themselves. We also got this saying that closed mouths don't get fed, which I know a lot of people have probably heard about that saying. While I was 7, she used to run up to Whataburger and ask me, did I want any food? And I would say yes. Every time we went, she rolled down the back seat of the window and asked me to order my own food. And she said if I did not order it, then I wasn't getting any Whataburger. And so that has definitely kind of propelled me into a spot of speaking for my own self and speaking for other people. My thing today is me versus me. In the track and field aspects, we all know that you're your own competitor pretty much. Whether it's running against the clock, running against yourself, just doing anything, you're your own competitor and you're your own motivator. And that's just with life. People can't push you to the way that you can push yourself. You can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make them drink. It's a saying I like to go by for track. I also want to go into the me versus me part, as I have a cousin that I used to grow up with, and right now he is in jail because of just kind of the path that he took. Me and my cousin, we used to hang out a lot. It would be weeks spent at my house, and he just became part of a family to me. And as we started growing up, it just kind of, I don't want to say it's separated because of his household that he was in, but we kind of started getting distance. We basically grew up the same way, going to church, spending time with family, friends, doing stuff with our family and friends. And after we started getting older, it kind of started taking a turn for the worst. As he started getting older, he started hanging out with friends that he shouldn't have been hanging out with, doing things he shouldn't have been doing, which he knows he shouldn't have been doing. And there was me, that was the good up kid that was always righteous and right. As my life started to kind of prosper and fulfill into this big beautiful journey, his life started going down. A few months ago, we lost our auntie due to an overdose, and of course you can imagine what that does to somebody, especially if your son is in jail. It was kind of hard for us, it was hard for him, and he's striving to do better, but the situation that he grew up in really wasn't an opportunity that gave him to express himself. He wanted to play sports just like me. I remember one day he was telling me that he also wanted to run track, and I told him that I don't think he could do it because he wasn't faster than me ever. And so that that's kind of reminded me that I guess opportunities can make a different impact. I want to also speak on behalf of Golden Elite because that has been a big opportunity for me in the long run of my opportunity. I remember 10 years old, my mom was texting Coach Mike just to see, how their organization was ran and how they did things there. He was a big stepping stone for me, and I don't know where I would be without him. He has just been the best motivator, best coach, best parent, best everything. And I would give the world to him if I could, because I don't know what I would do without him. It's been many times where my peace has been broken and he comes to the rescue. Even if we're not blood, even if we're not related, he comes to the rescue and tells me, hey, this is things I think you should do. This is things that I hope that you're thinking of, and this is things that you not should think of. And that has always just been giving me peace in the streets. As we've already spoken about the July 4th incident, a 16-year-old was arrested. My cousin in jail right now is 18, and I was thinking about how that could have been him. Could have been him in jail serving time, or that could have been him on the other side of the bullet receiving that death penalty. And I just think as a community that peace just needs to come back. I mean, like I've said before, the world has been fighting for peace, just ever since ever pretty much, the first Adam and Eve, we've been fighting for peace. And I just think that the community, is a big factor in opportunities for younger kids and younger adults just like me. And I just think that peace is a virtue that everyone should strive for. Thank you for your time.
I tell you, listening to Isaiah and our next speaker, we have hope for the future. There's no way as a senior in high school I would have been able to feel confident to get up in front of a group of people and talk to them. So I'm so impressed, Isaiah, with your speech, with what you mentioned about today. Your skills and athletes are very important. So there is hope for the future. Dr. Wiley mentioned earlier, I'm one of the founding members of the EPA. We started the EPA right here at this school. We met about once a month in the room, the library, met over here, and we had discussions. We talked about stories and things that we shared. I was known to break down and cry about once every other month, telling some of the stories that I've been to, but the stories were powerful, and we learned from each other from the stories that were being taken. So I'm just so impressed. But one of the things we noticed in our group was that we have a certain demographics age-wise, and we're kind of on that scale of the high insurance scale over there towards the very right. And then so Dr. Wiley really wanted to make sure we pulled younger people into the process, got more people involved at a younger age, and thanks to the help of everyone here tonight, we're pulling a whole other demographics in, and we have hope for our future. Now I do want to introduce next our next speaker, who is Carter Lantry. Carter's speech is titled Failure to Finals. He talked about rising from the ashes, and this speech would definitely touch my heart. I gave a speech out at UWF one time about failure and explained some failures that I had and where those failures led to. And just reading his bio and application, it tells about truly what failure can really mean, the chance for future success. So I just want to introduce Carter to you, and since sharp dressed man over here, eighth grader. Can you believe that? Eighth grader. Come on, Carter, come over.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Carter Lantry, Carter with a K, and I'm here to present my story. Have you ever worked hard to achieve something, only to fall short? I have. This is my story of rising from the ashes of defeat and disappointment and turned absolute failure into a greatest accomplishment. When I was in 6th grade, one of my teachers told me about this program called Amazing Shake, where it shows you important life skills such as dining manners, how to confidently shake someone's hand, and how to get a job when you're older. I thought I would do my best, and maybe for my first time, win the competition. After weeks go by, one of my teachers told me that I made top 10. I was so thrilled. I came home, told my mom the news, and we celebrated together. The next day, I had a competition. I gave everything that I got, but I lost. I was discouraged. The following year, I decided that I would be back at this stage again, and I would practice every day until I never gave up and reached my goal. The program starts up again. I practice even harder than before. When the competition comes around, I make top 10 once again. I thought back when I lost last year, and remember what I said to myself was, I'm going to win. Not only did I make top 10 again, I also get incredible news that I made top 2 and I was going to the semifinals.
Yeah.
I practiced every day until I reached my goal and got to the finals. Then came the moment I've been working toward all year. I qualified for the finals. And I practiced every day with my mentor who got me to the finals. Then it finally came time for me to show the judges why I'm the best and why I made it to the finals. Once the challenges were over, I had so much confidence in myself that I was going to win the competition. When I heard the names start getting called of the 5th, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd place winners, I patiently waited. Once I heard that my name got called as champion, I couldn't hold back my tears. As I walked up on stage to get my trophy, everyone was congratulating me on winning the whole thing my 2nd year. Looking back to when I lost my 1st year, it taught me perseverance and resilience. And it also taught me that success often belongs to those who refuse to quit. This is my story on how I overcame disappointment, refused to give up, and turned absolute failure into one of my greatest accomplishments. Thank you.
There is hope for the future, I tell you. It's hard to speak. I was taking my time to make sure we had a good amount of time here. I did want to share one thing with you. When we talked about the title about peace in the streets, I looked up the word what a street is. It says a street is a paved public thoroughfare in a town or city. Now, a street is different from a road. A road connects 2 points and 2 destinations. It also said a street is a multidimensional public space meant for social interaction, local access, and community life. So what it basically means, when we talk about peace in the streets, we're not talking about a road going from one destination to another one. We're talking about social interaction, being a public space. And when you go in a public space, you put yourself at risk. We all feel safe in our home, but to go out to a street, go out to the public, you have to let down a lot of inhibitions and you put yourself in danger. And the whole thing tonight is peace in the streets. One of the parts about the street part we're talking about is social interactions. You guys get an A+ for social interactions before the program started. You guys were amazing. People were networking, trading cards, talking to each other, getting hugs, high fives. It was wonderful. One thing we had earlier, me and Don was hearing at the table was, I'm so tired. We probably heard it 5, 6 times tonight. I'm tired. And I know you all are tired. You had long days, whether it be at work, whether it be dealing with the Blue Angels, whether it be summer times, but you still came out tonight. So thank yourself for coming out tonight. Thank yourself for being here because you're part of the streets, social interaction, community life, and working with other people. I'm sorry, Geraldine. I think Geraldine cried. I'm sorry. So the next break we have is going to be a 15-minute break we're going to have in place. Now, we're going to look at our time. We may pivot and say, hey, 5-minute countdown, 5-minute countdown. During the 15 minutes, we want you to walk around the room, see people, meet with people, talk to people. Definitely go there to see our vendor tables over here. The young kids are doing an amazing job with the Good State sale. The last fair I went to with Jim Sparks, I served as a mentor. I walked around the room and had a wallet full of money. I came home with no money and lots of great knickknacks and memories. So spend the money, spend time with them, help to encourage them. They are the future that we need. Now, I also heard that we took a silent poll around the room and we found out that my time of speaking is done. And Don Nova's going to turn over for me after the break. You guys said, Brian, we heard enough for you. So Don's going to take over this afternoon and with the last few speakers provide the introductions for the last few speakers. Have a great time, walk around, and we'll give you time checks of when we're going to end, about 15 minutes roughly. Thank you, everyone.
Hey, do you have a favorite piece of art that you love the most? Wow, golly. Did you make that? How much does that cost? 45. Have any of these still left? Oh, perfect. Oh, that's one?
But I'm happy to be here with you. It's an honor to be here with you. It's an honor to be a part of the Innisfree family, the Dixon family, the Equity Project Alliance family. What an enriching time in life. I have the pleasure of bringing up our next storyteller. The next story that you're about to hear is Hurdles Beyond the Track, the personal story of a young woman learning to overcome heartbreak, family struggles, self-doubt, while chasing dreams on and off the track. We are welcoming up an All-American 400-meter hurdle young woman. We're welcoming Under Armour All-American. We're welcoming up a girls record holder at PHS for the 100 and 400 hurdles. I don't even know all this terminology, but we're welcoming up a pretty amazing athlete, okay? And her name is Sanaya Hewley.
Hello, everybody. My name is Sanaya Hughley. I found my peace in doing track and field, and today I want to share a little of my story. When people hear the word peace, they often think that it means that your life is perfect. But for me, peace means choosing to keep going even when your life might feel unfair. As a teenager, I carried a lot of hurt because I felt like my life was unfair. I felt like my life was unfair. I struggled with the feeling of not being accepted by my biological parents. And because I wasn't raised by them. I tried to figure out life on my own. And I wasn't listening to the people who were only trying to guide me. So I ended up living with my biological mom. And while I was there, I was hoping that we could have that mom and daughter relationship, but it didn't work and it was toxic. So I then moved in with my aunt, and that situation became toxic too. All of this happened within 5 months, leaving me without a place that I felt like I could call home. I was trying to figure out who I was and where I truly belonged. During this time, I did pray for direction, strength, and forgiveness of the Lord. And I also realized to appreciate the people who show up for you. Even while mad at my bonus parents, they still showed up for me and supported me like always whenever I most needed it. I'm also thankful for my Golden Elite family, and a special thanks to Coach Mike and his wife for welcoming me with open arms whenever I didn't know where to go. They believed in me, and they showed me that my life could be bigger than my circumstances, so I kept growing. I went from being a CD student to making AB honor roll. I'm still working to raise my 3.0 GPA. My situation also helped me realize that my bonus parents raised me with a foundation of love, discipline, support, and a nurturing life that I didn't fully appreciate until I experienced my life without it. Peace isn't about having a perfect life. It's about allowing those experiences to make you stronger instead of bitter. My story is still being written, but no matter what you've been through, don't let your past decide your future. Thank you for listening.
Sanaya, you have to keep telling that story. Yeah. Powerful, and we're proud of you. I'm proud of you. That was hard, right? Courage is also a virtue we all need to be searching for, not just peace. Our next storyteller is a local website designer, marketer, former college professor, and in her 8th year of recovery from alcohol addiction. Right? Yeah. Her story is about how she survived the death of her son. 2 days, no call, no show, finding peace after losing my son. Gina Fox.
Hey, Mom, what's up? What do you mean? 2 days, no call, no show. I started to panic. I started to panic. You see, my son loved to work. He might have gone on a road trip and not told anyone. He might have isolated, but he would have never jeopardized his job. And so when I got the confirmation that he decided to end his life, I panicked. I screamed. I threw things. I made noises from my body that I did not know I could make. It was guttural, it was anguish. And when I finally calmed down, I said, who do I speak for now? You see, my son was born with a submucous cleft palate, and from very early on in his life, it was my job to make sure he had surgeries, to make sure he had therapy, to make sure that the teachers knew what he would need. The teachers would give him a fair chance. I had to speak for my son because his father, until the 5th grade, could not understand what he was saying. My mother, what did he say? And so when I lost my son, I felt like I lost my purpose. I had no voice. But I remember looking over at my computer where I was looking at the Toastmasters website prior to getting the call that he was missing. And I thought, oh, I still need to speak for him. I just have to change the message. That's it. I just have to change the message. I never knew what pain could feel like until I lost him. But the truth is, I didn't know what love could feel like either. I had spent all my life living in the middle. There's pain over here and there's love over here. And I was numb in the middle. And that was okay. That was okay. Because I didn't have to deal with that. And then when I lost him, I had nothing else but that. I spent the next 7 months after his death drinking myself to sleep, drinking myself to death. And on September 2nd, 2018, 7 months after he had died, I walked into my first AA meeting. And 10 days later, I sat on the beach in Pensacola at a nighttime AA meeting, surrounded by tiki lights and listening to the water hit the shore. And one of the people in the meeting said, my addiction is a gift, because without my addiction, I would not have a story to share. And that's when I realized my son's death is a gift, and I have to share it. You see, this all came from Plato's Allegory of the Cave. When I taught, my favorite lesson to teach was Plato's Allegory of the Cave. The hairs on my arms would stand out. I sometimes broke out into tears because it meant so much. It was my life. I had shared stories of being molested at 6 to people who needed to hear it. And I had shared stories of being told that I wasn't college material to students who needed to hear it because they too thought they were not college material. And now it was time to share my story of my son's depression and my son's death, because there are people out there who need to hear it. I'm okay today. I really am okay today. I am building a business with my son in my heart every step of the way. And I am doing this here because I have to be his voice. I have to be his voice. And someone will hear this story and they'll go, okay. I have written on my mirror, hope exists in one more day. My son had no hope. He was done. He was done. But I have to keep hoping that I can help someone. And so today I'm here with you, sharing my story because someone will need to hear it. I live my peace in these streets through my story. I said to Dawn when I first started, as horrible this is to say, my life is better because my son is dead. And that is awful. It was awful. I'd give anything to be back drunk and living in the squalor I was living in if I could just have him back. But that can't happen, so I'm going to do what I can with it. And so I speak to you today with peace in my heart. Thank you.
Thank you for your vulnerability and your story, Gina. It's one that a lot of people do need to hear. Our next story is a personal story about finding peace where he lost it, in the dirt. Jalen Moten is entering Chipotle Community College, and he's here to share his personal story with us.
I always say peace is kind of a funny thing because people usually look for peace inside of a dark place, away from people. But I found my peace on a baseball field, under the lights, and I had to understand that peace is not only comes from what other people say, but it comes from the people you love most, and you got to look for peace where they help you. Early in my high school career, baseball was easy. I wasn't thinking at all. And then the spotlight came. I started looking for peace through the spotlight. And I started to get cocky. I got away from myself. And I just wasn't myself. So after a while, the success, it started to become little to none. I started having way more failure than I've ever had, and it started to just get hard. I was alone, I felt alone, and I had to look for the people to help me. And my father helped me. He told me, you just gotta find peace where you lost it, in the grind. So we went to the field every day. We worked hard every day. And coaches like Adrian, he helped me meditate and find peace. And it was a hard journey, but I eventually overcame it. I started helping give back to the community. I started helping youthful players in baseball, and I became a better person out of it. I started to get back to my normal self throughout the years of high school, and I'm now the person I am today because of that. And I'm Jalen Moten. My peace is in the process. Thank you.
I love pieces in the process. How honest, right? Like, I'm not standing up here with all the answers. That's incredible. That's incredible. And it's a great segue into the personal story of Kevin Pugh. What I see here in Visible Battles is about being intentional, about creating peaceful communities and facing what feels like mental prison. Yeah? Do I got that right, Kevin? Yeah. Come on up, share your story.
So, good evening, everybody. My name is Kevin Pugh. I was born and raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I spent 8 years in the military. Traveled the world. And in that travel, the most dangerous place I've ever been was not in the streets of Philadelphia. The most dangerous place I've ever been was not in a foreign country during deployment. By far, the most dangerous place that I've ever been was the inside of my own mind. The quiet battles, the invisible battles often inflict the most damage. And I believe that the greatest degree of violence that we can encounter is not external, but internal. And learning to establish mental peace, I believe, prepares you for external peace. And throughout my travels in the military, I went to 13 different countries. I traveled the world, man, and my peace was tested. My peace was tested when I left Philadelphia. My peace was tested when I joined the military. My peace was tested when I traveled the world. My peace was tested when I left the military and came to Pensacola. And just last year, my peace was tested when I buried my little sister at 18 years old. I lost my little sister to a fentanyl overdose. And I questioned myself. I questioned God. I questioned my upbringing, because how could I make it from all of these environments? I was raised in a city with a high murder rate. I remember having to go to school on subway stations, and we called it the L train. And when you get on the train, you have to check your seats to make sure there's no fentanyl needles. I remember avoiding drug addicts. And it's not that I was raised in an environment that was that sucked into the streets. Contrarily, I was actually raised in a two-parent household. I was raised in a large family with a supportive village. But a guy like me, I had such a gravitational pull to the things that were counterproductive to my well-being. And I questioned that, how could I leave Philly myself? How could I leave an environment? How could I get away from those people? How could I get away from the city? How could I get away from the schools, the friend group, but my little sister fall victim to the same thing that I was saved from? And I realized that I was limiting myself mentally by believing I didn't do enough. I was limiting myself physically because I prepared myself mentally. And I believe that the mental prisons that we create only prepares us for the physical ones. And that's something that we have to share with our young people, because if somebody would have shared with me, I feel how you feel at 16. The same feelings that we feel at 16, we feel at 30, but people don't talk about it. The same things that we experience at 20, we experience at 40, but people don't talk about it. We experience heartbreak in the form of a childhood crush the same way that a 50-year-old experienced divorce. We experience lust and we experience love the same way at 16 as we experience it at 30, but we can just talk. We can have these conversations. So now, in the death of my sister, I live and breathe these conversations. If I can just extend myself to somebody, I may be able to keep them out of the grave. The strongest chains are not made of steel. The strongest chains are made of fear, shame, guilt, separation, isolation. And if we can identify those things, the day-by-day encounters that are the brick and mortar that build these mental prisons, that build these walls, we can counteract it. And if we can have those conversations with children, have those conversations with our students, have those conversations with our athletes, and let them know, I feel what you feel. I felt what you felt, even as a grown man. We can keep them above ground and out of jail. My name is Kevin Pugh, and this is my story. Thank you.
What a great story. Thank you all for your personal story. I've been a little addicted to books. I have like 3 in my bag right now, and it takes forever to read one, right? Because you're reading all 3, and then there's like 2 at home. But I've become this fan of bell hooks in a deeply intense way, and I wish that I told Dr. Wiley I wish I could sit down and have coffee with her, but she's no longer with us. But in All About Love, if you have any love of community, you have to read this book. And one of the quotes that sort of stood out to me while I was thinking tonight was actually she quotes Scott Peck in The Different Drum. There is no better place to learn the art of loving than in community. So I just wanted to share that because this is like a connective piece. We can be up, we can be down, we can be happy, we can be sad, but the shared experience of having those feelings with one another is such a intentionally connective piece. And wow, EPA for making those spaces for us is really incredible. So Dr. Wiley, would you come back?
All I can say to the speakers this evening is, wow. I'm almost speechless, almost, but not really. So, you all did I know, right? You all did a phenomenal job. And like Don said, thank you all for your vulnerability, for your willingness to share your stories that were so deeply felt. And thank you for being willing to talk to folks because I know a lot of us are still going to want to chat with you just a little bit after we leave or after we dispense with this. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for supporting each other. Thank you for building community, because that's what the EPA is all about. We're building community. We want a city where everybody feels valued, and we know that together we can do this, Pensacola. So having said that, I want to know what it is that you plan to do. Now that you've heard that there's some things that you can do, what will you do? Because there's a saying, and it's really old, Geraldine, if not me, then you. If not you, then who? So someone has to step up, and you know a journey of 1,000 miles begins with just one step. We're going to be passing out, or perhaps have already been passed out to you, a call to action card. We want you to be intentional about filling this out, and it can be something really simple. It could be as simple as saying, hey, let's go to lunch, or let's go play with, we can't play with turtles anymore, so we can go play with frogs, because you can't do turtles. We used to do the turtles, but anyway, I won't go there with that. So you can figure out something that you could do with someone else. The whole thing is to build relationship. It's all about, and I want you, there's an article that's really amazing. It's by James Clear, and it says, why facts don't change opinions. You know, I got to know you, Emily, and once I get to know you, I will change because I know you, not because I read a story about you. So it's about this whole idea of creating spaces where we can share our stories, and how beautiful the stories have been this evening. Actually, I was going to share a story, but you know, all the slots got filled, so I wasn't able to, but I'm not bitter about it. So here's the deal. Here's the credit. Thank you, and Katie is amazing. So Katie reminded me, yes, thank you. So Katie reminded me that what I'm supposed to ask you all, and I completely forgot about it, how many of you is it that this is the first time that you have attended an Equity Project Alliance event? Would you please raise your hand if this is your first time? Whoop, whoop. All right. Wow. We're being like the banyan tree. You know, I'm gonna tell you this, and then I'm gonna sit down. No, I won't really sit down, but I have some instructions for you. So a banyan tree, when it grows, what it does is it has its roots on the tree itself, and when that root drops down, it plants another tree, and then that one has a root, and so all of them are connected. We are building steps, so you're a part of the EPA banyan tree. So you should now have in your hand a card that says it's a call to action. Will you take a moment, and we want to hold you captive for just a few moments to actually complete that card, and then we'll fill it out, and you'll fill it out, then we'll pick it up and we'll get back in touch with you. If you say, I want to volunteer with a youth-led organization, do that. If it's the EPA, do that. But do something. Do something. So I'll be quiet and give you about 3 to 5 minutes to get that completed, and then we'll wrap. Okay, so I've been asked to announce that once you have completed filling out your cards, there are goodies that are still left over there in case anybody wants to take something with them. Also, don't forget the vendors are still here, so you can still buy stuff.